All right, so about 6 minutes in. Yeah, I'll remember that. All right, welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 8. Real quick first impression review. I do have to say, right off the rip, a friend of mine who is a journalist already watched all 8 episodes, and I stayed away from spoilers, but just recently I finally broke down and asked, is there any more infected to finish? Because someone in chat last week said they don't think there's any more infected, and I said that's impossible. You need infected for David, because it just helps bridge that the moment together so well, and you need infected for the ending, at least, if not anything plot-wise, at least just for that cool, the cool factor, which this show does not have. It does not have that cool fun factor where they just said, listen, and I know I'm going to get 100 people jumping in chat saying, you don't need action for action's sake. Well, boy, are you a fucking sourpuss. You know what I'm saying? You don't need action all the time that's just empty. Absolutely agreed. But when it comes to movies and shows and games and comics, and you need an element that is simply just the cool factor. And if you can take it and tie it into the plot as much as possible, that makes it even better. This show, almost all the way throughout, is severely lacking in that cool factor. It looks beautiful, but there's no infected. There's no bloater in this. And again, my friend said there's infected in episode 9. And from the trailer, I'm assuming it's a flashback. So there's no more infected. There's no final bloater showdown. How awesome would it have been if we saw how the bloater was a tank and we witnessed Joel defeating a bloater? I mean, that would have been friggin' awesome. But we got a tiny morsel of violence in this, which the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's clunky when they cut around it. And they actually let it play. You can tell they filmed it in a way to show as little gore as possible, but it's at least it's there. At least they didn't just Ellie goes to cut and then they do a weird angle where you can't even see the hit. At least it's there. So I give them credit. The bare minimum with the violence, but it's at least in the episode and not cut out like most of the episodes up until this point. David being religious is a big old, give me a break. Now, if you're not familiar with Hollywood, just to throw it out there, they absolutely hate Christians. I'm sorry if you're a Christian, but they hate them if they try to blacklist you, and this is coming directly from people working in the industry. It's so bad to the point where it's a running joke. Who said this joke? I think it was it? Oh, I forget if it was Jim Carrey or Matthew McConaughey or something, but they said that people they had prayed with on set or after, he had mentioned God in a speech one time, and he saw a bunch of these people that he knows are deeply religious kind of looking around to see if it was okay to clap or whatever, and it wasn't. But the point, though, is, and I'm not religious myself, but the point is, because of this weird hatred towards Christianity, making all these villains, religious villains, if you notice it, once you hear about it, you notice it, and then it starts clicking. That's what the whole point is. It's generic. It's lame as shit. It doesn't work well. And in this episode, it's not needed. It didn't work well. It was kind of stupid. We got to see the real Joel. If you don't know, the James character, the right-hand man, so to speak, to David, was actually the voice actor that played Joel. When I mentioned this, me and my daughter both looked at each other because you can hear the voice there. Now, he adjusts his voice a little bit for the actual character in the game, but you can hear it there. And it was just cool having him on screen. And then you got David being a generic bad leader. I didn't find any of this interesting. The whole slapping the kid and yada, yada, yada. I don't mind if he, beat the hell out of all the kids in the compound. I don't give a shit. But if they don't do it in a cool way, I'm down for it. This was really lame, generic. Matter of fact, I don't even think there was any diversity in this group either. You know what I'm saying? Now that I think about it, wasn't it just a whole bunch of evil white people that were cannibals? Anyhow, there's too much focus on there's too much, and this is not just this episode, but every episode up until this point, there's way too much focus on people that don't even last longer than one episode. Some of the times, technically, it's not even half an episode, but we don't need all this focus. We got more in the game when just hearing bits and bobs than we did in the show, and we're actually in their compound. So a lot of that is, I think it's doing the show an injustice. We don't need to sit there, kick it with them, and yada, yada, yada. Little moments like the David carrying Ellie for miles. The Last of Us has done these little bits and bobs, and I'm hammering home a couple negatives, but I didn't mind the episode. I'm probably more along the positive side, but I will say the map scene was great, where, now that I think about it, the map scene was great. Ellie breaking his finger was great. The throwing the heated stick that was on fire was really dumb. I kind of wish he just started a fire and then he walks out and you can see it, starting to rage up. I don't know. He's got a gun. She doesn't know if it's going to catch light. It's not like she spilt gasoline or something, or something that'll ignite. It's a weird thing to, this guy has a gun, for you to pop up and throw a burning stick at him, hoping something would happen. I don't know. That part was kind of stupid, but David's death was really badass. But if you look at it, the map scene, the broken finger, David's death, a lot of these moments that are really badass are one-for-one recreations of the video game. So I'm still in the camp that I probably would like this show a lot better if they just did the whole game as a live-action show. Hearing Joel, even though I don't think the show did a really great job bringing these two characters together, just because it fluctuated so much between episodes for a number of them there, and they're focusing on other people instead of Joel and Ellie's journey. This show should have been 9 episodes of the majority Joel and Ellie's journey. But him saying baby girl, it did look like the blood on Ellie went from coated in blood to not as much blood when she went outside, and it's not like she had any time to wipe it off. Now, maybe I'm just misremembering it because of the shadows or how it was filmed, but it looked like she was drenched in blood, and then she comes outside and her face is, clean for the most part. I don't know. So, yeah, a lot of the stuff from the game I like. A lot of the stuff that's original, it felt totally unnecessary, even though we get the point, again, when it involves the two characters. And I'm still getting the feeling where we're close to the end, and I got this feeling where the show is good. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's trash. I can see how people love it. I don't even think it's close to a 10 out of 10, though, on the flip side. And knowing what story we could have gotten from having already been through it with the game, I think this is a huge swing and miss. We have 1 episode left. A chunk of it is going to be a flashback of a character that doesn't matter, that's not connected to Joel and Ellie. It is cool that real Ellie is going to give birth to TV Ellie, video game Ellie. That's cool, symbolically. However, when it gets down to it, I'm here for their journey. The shit that comes along with it onto the side. Taking out the infected is probably one of the things that hurts it the most. It feels like a really pussy world. When you're in The Walking Dead and they run into zombies all the friggin' time, it is awesome because you're a zombie fan and you're seeing really cool practical zombie effects, but you get it when they say it's dangerous out there. You get it. In this show, they went across country. You know what I'm saying? They ran into 4 zombies. You know what I mean? It's and those zombies were mostly in the area that they were living at that was supposed to be relatively safe. So, I don't know. That's where I fit with The Walking Dead, or with The Last of Us, where I can't hate it. For me, it's hitting at an okay. I think if I didn't play the game, because the game wowed me on all the story beats. If I didn't play the game, I probably would be a little more positive, but as a zombie/monster movie fan, I don't think it would be blowing me away. The story's too condensed for what it is. It does look beautiful. I think I didn't have a problem with the acting in this episode. Was fine for the acting. Suspension of disbelief was okay with some of the characters, with Joel being on his deathbed and then fighting.
I'm glad they kept in that David was a Chester, and Ellie going nuts when she killed him like the game. But
yeah.
Come on, W infected already.
Yep, I agree with all those points. And the finale's 43 minutes, yeah.
The finale is only 43 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, how about that bullshit, right? Thank you very much for the super chat. Tenebris, the first super chat, well, thank you very much. The finale is only 40. Imagine that, the finale. Now, this is something where, we should be getting one final hurrah with Infected, and then we get to a part where now here's the thing. My friend already saw episode 9, and I asked him about, now it's not really spoilers. I don't know. I asked him about a certain character from part 2 making an appearance, because everyone's like, speculating that would be the case. But I also asked about the giraffe scene, and I think I might have misread the text, because I thought he said there was no giraffe in episode, but the trailer looks like the giraffe scene is in it, because when they're standing there in the game, it's when they leave the giraffe, they talk about, let's finish this out, yada yada, because they're going down the stairwell. But in the trailer, it really looks like that's the giraffe scene. But anyhow, that's one of the scenes where I'd be shocked if they didn't do that. That's a huge fail. But anyhow, it looks like they're doing it. So I had to have read his message wrong. But it doesn't look like we're going to get anything from part 2 Horseshoed in here, unless my friend is kind of joshing me, setting me up for failure, where he's like, oh, don't worry. And then she shows up and it's like, oh, here we go. But so we're supposed to do a big, and they took out the picture with Sarah and Joel, which is another thing that really sucks, man. So we're supposed to get this last hurrah with Infected, the final connection with Joel and Ellie. They had their emotional moment here. We get the final connection with these two characters. This is it, the end of the journey. We have locked them in as, father-daughter bond. Like, it's them as a team, no matter what, from here on out. And then she gets captured. Then we get the hospital shootout. We're cramming all that in the 40 minutes. I'm telling you, it's going to be Joel shoots 5 people, snatches Ellie, and gets out of there. I don't know. No Infected. And they're squeezing in a flashback scene. And again, this is all in the trailer before anyone goes, spoilers. No, I'm talking about stuff that's in the actual trailer. But listen, the poll is showing that 52% loved this episode, 39% was meh and okay, 10% hated it. I'm going to go and vote. I don't think I'm allowed to vote, but I would vote okay. I think the episode is just okay. It has this, it's one of those shows and movies for me personally where if it wasn't for the name, the brand, the video game itself, this would probably be one of those where you mention, well, when you get around to it, yeah, it's good. Check it out. You want to watch a show and there's nothing on and you're in between shows you love. Yeah, this is, it's worth a watch, But obviously there's a caveat there, because one of the big things with this, and it still blows my mind, is this is a creature feature. Make no mistake about it. I know if you're not a zombie fan and you don't give a shit, that's fine. But at the end of the day, this is a creature feature. They should be up front, a good chunk of the time. Because it's a show and not a game, it doesn't have to be as much as the game. Sure, absolutely agreed. But make no mistake about it. That's like making a sci-fi alien movie, and I focus on some kid that got adopted and they go fucking run around in a cornfield backwards butt naked. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any logical sense. I'm going to make a new Predator movie, but we're going to focus on this neighbor and his dog, and they're going to have this little bond moment where they go hunting and they fuck a little, Anyhow, you guys leave thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm going to close this out now. And if you do want to check out what we discuss for fan feedback, you can go jump over to my live stream. If you're on my live stream, stay here because this is getting cut out for the clipped portion. But so I'm officially done. I thought it was an okay episode. I think if they add in, 30 more minutes filling this out, pull back on the showing us shit we don't need to worry about because it's a community that is a one and done. Add some infected, add a little more just oomph to some of the violent moments. I think you'd be rocking a higher score. But that's it. All right. So we're going to get into fan feedback.